Broads Media.
Never did I think there would be a way where the Phillies would lose the series to the Arizona Diamondbacks, but I would be pumped the second I hit the record button because of what Trea Turner did. The 2-run shot after that pathetic at-bat before. Swinging at pitches that were touching the dirt 5 feet in front of the plate. I don't understand how he got that lost. But oh my Lord, did that not feel like a Trea Turner moment? An at-bat that matters in that Phillies uniform. The first time we were able to grab him and say thank you after getting booed that same day. It's another Alec Bohm thing. The day Alec Bohm went about his business saying he hated this place and then looked at the camera, looked at the fan base, and said he let the emotions get the best of him. Trea Turner gets killed, gets crushed, gets booed heavily in his own ballpark, and reasonably so. Just because he says the right things afterwards doesn't mean that how you're playing is acceptable. And you also chose to come here because they were willing to pay you a lot of money. I love the way he handled himself during the struggles. I'm not mad at the fans for expressing how they feel during those struggles. Within range of reasonable. Within range of not crossing the line like a small portion of fans tend to do. That was so ridiculous, though. And good for Bryson Stott, the at-bat right before him to get on first base, earned a nice single. Wasn't the greatest behind the plate. Rob Thompson's all fired up, screaming at the top of his lungs, making all sorts of gestures towards the blue behind the dish. Stott, young player, staying with it. Not getting overwhelmed by the frustration. Smacks a single, which gives Trea Turner the opportunity to even step up. It felt like, and it seemed like, the team found something with this win. I have to be completely honest, though. I've said that a billion times already this season. I've already thought that they would have turned the corner 7 times. So why this time would it be any different? That's a very fair question. But doesn't this have extra? This has guac on the side. You got yourself double chicken at Chipotle. It's not single scoop. You're looking at that motherfucker and say, scoop again. That look, like, come on, dude. That's not enough. Yo, come on, jerk off. Will ya, please? Throw me a bone. You've been in this line before on this side. You know what it's like when you feel the person gypped you. Grab your nuts and let's go. Scoop it. You know what I'm saying? That's how this win felt to me. You got the guac and you got the double chicken. Maybe throw some queso on there? I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Brown rice? Pinto beans? This was the first 5-0 deficit that the Phillies have come back from since June of 2022, which amazes me considering how good they were playing in those later summer months last year. But I guess it's because they were constantly playing from the lead and they were kicking teams' asses. So when that's the case, you're going to be up more in games. You're not digging yourself in a hole. These next 7 games are crucial. I hope there's a new sense of life. Because I was afraid. I listened to Bryce Harper after the Game 2 loss in this series. They dropped Game 2 4-3. I thought Kyle Schwarber had a shot to center field that was going to drop, but they made a good defensive play. Covey ended up not being a bum, and he had one of the worst win-loss percentages in the history of Major League Baseball with enough starts to even be counted for. It was something along the lines of 6-29, and it became terrible to look at some of his numbers. But once Matt Strahm left the game, he actually held the fort down, held his own. I was absolutely floored. But Dominguez was a mess. After that game, Bryce Harper tried to, kind of give out a cry of help. Cry for help. We need something here. He went down the path to try to inspire his teammates. Say, yo, we can't wait around. We need a little sense of urgency. And for the team to have that type of win, I think it's important. That came after the superstar made his comments in the room. But last year, Kyle Schwarber did the same, but he was so nonchalant. He was so cool. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about us. There's a long ways to go. I wasn't getting that recently. Now, they've been saying similar things. It's a long season. There's a lot of baseball left. But you could tell there was more kick in it. It was coming from a different angle. I hope that this type of win is what you grab onto, and from there you just take off. And what better teams to do it against than your rivals? I despise the Mets, and the Mets killed you last year. You actually can do something against Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr. is playing ridiculous ball, but they don't get as overwhelmed against the Braves like they did against the New York Mets last season. I got to give a shout out to Connor Brogdon for getting out of that jam. The game turned when the Diamondbacks had bases loaded, no outs, and a 2-0 count. And 7 pitches later, they're out of the inning without giving up anything more. It was extremely impressive. You're down 5-0. Things have been going really rough for you all. Your team stinks with runners in scoring position. Your starting pitching was awful. Ranger Suarez is just not ready. He's not himself. He didn't throw at all in spring training, and they just threw him on the mound and said, we need you desperately, but that's not really good. I guess you can make the argument you shouldn't have lost the way Covey pitched, or Covey. I keep going to Britton Covey, but Covey. You shouldn't have lost the game the way he pitched, and you should have lost the game that Ranger pitched. So it works out anyway. I don't know. Zach Wheeler bothered me in Game 1 in their 6-3 loss because whenever the Phillies did crack back into the lead, the other team tacks on an insurance run. They pull away. They add some bonus. You're supposed to be the number one dude. See, now I'm starting to get angry again when I actually started off the show with life and with some positivity. And I haven't had that fulfillment yet this year in any win that I had when Trea Turner was trotting around the bases. He smoked that thing. He was getting abused by the fans right before. I didn't know because Trea Turner has never been through this slump before. I didn't know if he knew how to grind himself out. And to be fair, there's still more time until we actually know if he is out of it or not. But it was disgusting. Some players kind of go through that. He's been very consistent and awesome for so long. I didn't know if he was getting overwhelmed and starting to press to a level where there's no return until next year because Nick Castellanos did that. To his credit, thank you. Whatever forced you to be uncomfortable, you got out of it. Your family, getting to the new house, even though it's Ben Simmons' house, so you should have known prior to making the purchase. But watching Trea Turner, there was some satisfaction that I've been missing since the end of last year. Really, when they went up in the series and had a lead with the home game at Citizens Bank Park before Houston ripped our hearts out. So I started off pumped. And now I became angry as we worked our way backwards throughout the series. I guess that makes sense, though. No? You're getting a W and then working your way backwards into 2 losses. If you want to grab this franchise's fan base right now, this is the time to do it. 7 games, big-time opponents. I need 5-2 at the minimum. I don't think that that's unfair to ask. Speaking of our great fans, though, I do have to give them a lot of credit. The Phillies have an average attendance of 40,000 fans this year, which is second in Major League Baseball. This is up 40% from last year, which was 28,459. So a lot of fans saw what happened last year and said, I want in on this. I want to support this. I can absolutely financially and with my time put you in my life. And they were getting rewarded with crap. They were getting rewarded with vomit. Here you go. This is exactly what it is. Please make it change now. Please be the difference. You can't face Atlanta and then piss all over yourself. Big wet spot right around your crotch. They've done that to us a ton, no? That's why I was even shocked that they won in overtime. I got NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on the brain. That they won in extra innings. Because it would be so Phillies to do that. And then in the 10th, what? But Craig Kimbrell, good for you. He's calming down. Looks good out there. Not so much for Sir Anthony Dominguez. The hell is going on? Is there an injury of some sort? Is there a reason why he's so off? Jose, missing at this time. I guess he's starting to ramp back up. Bullpen sessions. Hopefully gets a stint soon. But that would be nice. Farthest thing from our biggest problems, though. Number 1 and number 2 being your starting pitching. And as awesome as the Trea Turner thing is, and here I am making sure I'm settling myself back down because I know getting my feelings up may end up costing me soon. You don't win pitching this way. And I don't know if their pitching is going to stop. Everyone at this particular time is a major question mark. I have no idea what I'm going to get from any starter. I don't know. You're lying if you say you do. I want you to put your savings account on the line right now and give me something that's going to happen with any of these 5 starters. Zach Wheeler, 6 innings, couple earned runs. Didn't look terrible on the box score, but getting hits with runners in scoring position is all about what? Timely hits. I needed timely stops. Put the brakes on for the Diamondbacks offense. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. I got no clue. And I have no clue how they bottle this up and move forward on the road. It's a big test, though. Here it is. Sixers lost, and this is it for the Phils to say, follow my lead. We'll be all right. 7 games. How much faith do you have? I'm concerned to jump all the way in with 2 feet because the same Phillies baseball is what has shown. Every time, every single time. You think, but it's a big tease. You wonder, but you end up getting hurt. When is it enough? When will it be the actual win that does get us to where we need to be? Maybe it never happens. Or we look back at Trea Turner as the emotional spark plug. Because even Bohm, who was the one to actually deliver the walk-off hit, you could tell how much this meant for the clubhouse. You know, the world was on the shoulders of Trea Turner. But that also impacts the rest of the team, too. I think that was carrying a black cloud around every single dude. From Rob Thompson all the way down. Even from Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton. Bryce could go 3 for 4. Nick could have 2 home runs in a game. Kyle Schwarber could hit his 11th, his 12th, his 13th home run. Nothing was going to change until Trea Turner made the noise. Until he was the loudest. We'd bring up the others, but it doesn't hit as hard. Now you can relax. As long as the next game, there's a nice double or something. It's not going to automatically go right to 3 for 4. I don't expect it to. But follow the 1 home run up with an at-bat that's serviceable, please. That strikeout. The second pitch. Or the second strike. Oh, my God. And then somehow for the third strike, it was just as ugly. How could you really duplicate that? It's almost impossible for a hitter like him to do it once, and he did it twice in the same at-bat. He came here for Kevin Long, and Kevin Long has figured everybody out. Cody Clemens is now raking strong. You get my point. Pache, before he got hurt, turned it around. Nick Castellanos now seems to have a grasp. Kevin Long swears by the guy. Bryce Harper swears by the guy. So I'm not criticizing him. Am I criticizing Rob at all for the downward start? I don't know. Before this game, they had the same exact record as they did with Joe Girardi as their manager. So if we were criticizing Joe Girardi, don't we have to look at Rob Thompson? I don't think Rob Thompson can do much. The lineup, that's not why they're losing games. He can't pitch for the starters. You could tell he's aggravated. I'm not necessarily in love with the angry Rob Thompson or the frustrated Rob Thompson, but you could say that about any manager because that just means the team's not playing well. Manager's not pissed off when they're 5 games over 500, when they're 10 games into the division lead. It only occurs when the squad stinks. So as soon as they start winning, or if they start winning, and we get happy Rob again, and the smiley Rob, who has fun and has a smile and gives you a side chuckle and is more enjoyable to listen to in the post game when he's sitting at his desk. We'll get there again once they start hitting. Their hitting won't carry them over this pitching, though. Ranger, not good enough. Wheeler and Nola, I still need more. Covey. What? What are we doing? I don't know. Sometimes I think this is all some sort of sick joke. But it is what it is. All right. Phone calls. Let's do it.
Hey, bros. Turner today, I have to say, that was good for him. I was at the game, the Cubs game, where they got blown out. I think it was 10-1. I was just sitting in the right field corner, and he was swinging at some awful stuff. And we saw that again today. And it was getting to the point where I wasn't just mad, but I was starting to actually feel bad for him. And seeing him tied up was just, good for him. I hope he finally gets out of this slump with that swing. And then Alec Bohm, man, let me tell you. Yeah, he definitely loves this place. Good for him. Second career walk-off. I mean, let's hope that this is a spark that the team gets.
I agree with you. We need it badly. Now, Alec Bohm even started the comeback when they were down 5 runs and poked a run on the board, and that was impressive. Brandon Marsh, if you didn't know, was a big-time football player before baseball started to take off. He has that the football player mentality. Battling through injuries, being nicked up. He just wants to be out there. If he's 40%, fine. I'm lacing up the cleats. Give me my glove. What's that? I'm at 30%? Doesn't bother me. I'm going to give you my all. Sometimes enough is enough, and you're extremely hurt, and we can't cross that line. Doesn't seem that's where he's at now. And he also helped give some buzz. I just know that he's going through some things. Not afraid to grab the gloves, though. Get those batting gloves. Take your turn walking to the box. I think that carries a long way. I think there's a lot of respect that happens when that's the case, especially nowadays. More basketball than anything else, but if you're injured and you're a little nicked up, whatever. What's the next 3 games? I'll be all right. What's that? We got a back-to-back? I'll just chill in here. What's that? We're going to Houston? I know what I can do in Houston, in the streets. Where's James Harden? James Harden here? Maybe we can team up. Find some local spots. Just spitballing. You brought up the man, the myth, the legend, though. And that's one Trea Turner. It seriously looked, when he was running around the bases, that all the demons were leaving his body. They were exiting. I wish there was another at-bat for him, though, in that game. Because what if he singled? Smoke one to the left side, gets a nice single, and then it's home run single in the same game. You already have this good confidence. You know you just did something very important. You're in the heat of the moment, the adrenaline rush. Here I am, already wanting more. Can never be satisfied. It's very unfortunate. I always get left looking to see if there's something I can add prior to leaving. What are you going to do? Guess we'll go back to the phones.
If this 5-0 comeback win versus the Diamondbacks doesn't get this team going, I'm convinced nothing will. I mean, the first 2 games were putrid. We couldn't play defense. We were giving the Diamondbacks free runs. Every time we scored a run, it seemed like our pitching just felt the need to give them the runs back. I mean, it was terrible. Zach Wheeler had a pathetic outing. Even today, Ranger Suarez was pathetic again. The bullpen pitched good today, but they didn't pitch good yesterday. I mean, every game it's something different with this team. They can't play fundamental baseball right now. But if a moment like this can't get this team going, I'm convinced nothing will. I mean, before today, it seemed like they just gave up on the season. They don't want it bad enough. But then today, they come and fight back and come down from 5-0. So we'll see where this goes with the Mets and Braves series, but they needed this. They needed this bad.
I love that point. I love that point. If you're telling me that you can't grab this and run with it and make this matter, you know it. You know this is something that works. You've played a lot of baseball. We've watched a lot of baseball. We know the it game. We know the it at bat. We know when it's extremely important. It's right here, and it's looking at you in the face. If you flop, what the hell more can you ask for? This is the perfect scenario. 1,000%. You can't screw this up. And if you do, then you're not who we thought you were. I don't care about any other record in the National League currently to give you confidence in wild card stuff. That's irrelevant to me. I'm at the time of the schedule where it's about us. It's about what we can control. What we can control is playing the game the right way, executing at a high clip, and improving each day. The most struggled player in the league right now. This was national story level of ugly. Because no one in the world who covered Trea Turner since the moment he was born has seen it. So, what will help turn it around? How long will it take? He did it. You don't need anything else. Let this fire you off from a cannon. And if you can't, Boy, oh boy, you're a disappointing bunch. Don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. Back to the phones.
Bro, it's the middle of the game right now, but let's call it what it is. This is a lost season for the Phillies.
Uh-oh. So we got a mid-game call. Calling for the Phillies season to be over. All right, we'll let this whole thing run. I actually like this. This is funny. I think it will be funny. If it continues down the path that the first few seconds were. All right, let's do this.
Bro, it's the middle of the game right now, but let's call it what it is. This is a lost season for the Phillies. The team cannot game plan for pitchers. They don't game plan. They don't know how to. The offense, for some reason, every single batter is slumping at the same time, which is absolutely impossible.
I'm going to stop there and counter some points here. What do you mean they don't game plan? They're playing Zach Gallen, or facing Zach Gallen, who's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Once they got him out of the game, though, things seem to smoothen out and get easier, which is normally how this game goes. I can't say they don't game plan. They're not playing well. You see what the other guy has. You know tendencies. You look at what they do. Just because they're not hitting the ball well, I'm not going to question the time and effort they put in to studying what the other guy throws. That's just part of the game. This is a hard game to hit the baseball. I don't think they don't look for information. Sometimes they can overstimulate their brain with a billion things and analytics shoved down your throat, and now you're in the batter's box thinking of 10,000 different things instead of see ball, hit ball. Absolutely. But in regards to what does that guy throw? What percentage does he throw his fastball? What percentage does he throw his slider? I think they study that stuff well and game plan in regards to that. I have no reason to believe that they don't.
They have not beaten one good pitcher all year. Their batting approach is horrible. Their starting pitching is a mess. They can't come back. They can't play from behind. Whenever a pitcher lets a guy on base, it's always a disaster. The team did not do anything with their pitchers in spring training, which is going to affect this team if they do make a run down the stretch for a wild card spot. And overall, there is no evidence here at all that the Phillies can repeat what they did last year. There's none here. And one last thing, why don't they try Bryce Harper in the leadoff spot? This team is so desperate for a leadoff hitter. Stott's the best one that they have, but Trey Turner ain't doing anything there. And Schwarber is not something that you can repeat there.
Yes, you can. You can put Kyle Schwarber there. The fascination with who bats leadoff is too extreme for my liking. You're not winning or losing these games because the leadoff hitter. It's not. It's not what's wrong. I don't care where Schwarber hits. I do care. I need him in the top echelon here. I'm just saying, whether it's first, whether it's third, whether it's second, whether it's fourth, whether it's fifth, you're not winning or losing these games based off Bryce Harper hitting third or first. Your issues lie deeper than that. And you brought up a ton of them. And a lot of your points are valid. I don't like the way that they handled their starting pitching in the offseason. They didn't know what to do after the long road occurred with the World Series run. And then they weren't as prepared for the start of the year. That's obvious. So, yes, I agree with you there. I don't agree with everything you said, though. I get it. Mid-game, they're down 5-0. I was losing my cool, too. I hated them. Hated them. I'm starting to question, will I hate them after these 7 games, though? That will be determined. Thank you all so much for kicking it with me. I will catch you all on the next one.